I felt like she was changing her story multiple times, okay? In my head, I was like, dude, this was not the plan. What is going on? I have always put my politeness first and my assertiveness second. I started using it, abusing it, overusing it. I was so happy. There are other content creators.
Soft, wavy, beautiful, just the way I liked it.
So what's been happening with my hair? In short, I colored my hair and I completely lost my curls. Today I'm going to talk about it. This has been such a miserable experience for me. I'm hoping that some good comes out of it. Watch this video, learn from my mistakes, don't make the same mistakes that I made, and hopefully some good can come out of this entire experience. For the last 1.5 years, you've heard me referring to my hair and the state that my hair is in. I've been talking about curl shock, curl shock, curl shock. So what is curl shock? Before I start talking to you about my experience, I think we should distinguish between the two types of curl shock. When you cut your hair and it goes into this temporary state of shock, that is called curl shock. Usually the hair bounces back after a few weeks. Sometimes it can take a little longer. There's no such term for any damage that happens to you after you color your hair. And so I'm just going to coin this term, color curl shock. Let's distinguish between haircut curl shock and color curl shock. So if you've just gone through a haircut and your hair is not curling as usual, let's call that haircut curl shock. How long does the hair take to bounce back after you get a haircut? Now, this is a difficult question to answer. This is what I'll tell you. If you've cut your hair just a little bit, then usually it takes you a few weeks. When it comes to wavy hair though, there's a bit of an issue. See, when your hair is this long, it waves very well. If I had to suddenly cut my hair this short, it would not wave that well. And so for me to bring back my texture, for it to curl properly, I would need a little more length. And so how much time would it take me to bounce back if I had to cut my hair this much? It would probably take me a few months. So there's no set answer. Wavy hair takes a bit of length to wave properly. If you've cut your hair too much, then the curl shock that you go through can last a little longer till your hair grows out a little bit. I can't speak for everyone, but I've noticed when my hair is waist length or at least bust length, it curls very well. If I had to cut it this much, it would not wave. It would look more straight with a slight wave. Curly hair doesn't work the same because the shorter the length, the more bouncy the curls. Whereas for wavy hair, you need a little bit of length for the hair to curl. Let's say you cut your hair too short and you have a 2A or 2B curl pattern, then it could take you a few months for your hair to recover and bounce back. It totally depends on how your hair behaves and how much length it needs for it to curl properly. So what happened to me? I decided one day that I wanted to highlight my hair. I didn't think too much about it. I decided I wanted a dark base with some nice thick chunky highlights. I decided that would look really nice. So I went to the hairdresser. I spoke to her. Now see, in the past I have always put my politeness first and my assertiveness second. So in communicating with the hairdresser, I've always tried to be super polite and tried to not offend her because she's a professional and I'm not. This time it was totally different. I knew exactly what I wanted. I spoke to her at length. I told her that look, I want my hair colored. Can we do this without much damage? Because there are some colors that you can do on your hair without using bleach. She said, look, the color that you're wanting for your highlights, we'll use a little bit of bleach just in those areas. But since they're nice chunky highlights, there won't be too many. The rest of your hair we can do without bleach. I also pretty much told her that, look, my hair is my livelihood because I make YouTube videos on hair. So are you sure that you can do this and are you comfortable that you're going to be able to do this? She was like, yeah, 100%, don't worry, there's not going to be too much damage, it's going to be fine, etc, etc. We had a discussion on the phone, in person, etc, etc. So we decided the specifics of everything that was going to happen. Now once she started coloring my hair, she started doing the global color, I could smell bleach. I've colored my hair so many times before that obviously this is not my first rodeo. I could smell bleach. So I was like, hang on, what is going on? I can smell bleach. I thought we decided that the global would be done without bleach. So she was like, yeah, don't worry. So I felt like she was changing her story multiple times. Okay, she colored my hair. She washed the color off. She blow dried my hair. We looked at it. We saw that it looked orange. Now, one of my instructions to her was, I want a dark chocolate brown base. I don't want brassiness or oranginess in my hair at all. Then she finally admitted to me that she had pre-lightened my hair. We're going darker with the color, we're not going lighter. So why are you pre-lightening the hair? Okay, so there's some context that is missing here. When I walked into the salon, I already had colored hair. I had an ombre. I'll insert footage here. My main question at this point was, if we're going darker with the hair and not lighter, then why are we pre-lightening it? In my head, I was like, dude, this was not the plan. What is going on? But then she was like, don't worry, this is just the standard process, etc., etc. Now, I'm not the professional, she is. So like, okay, fine. Let's just go with it. She was like, trust me, it's going to look great, etc., etc. So she colored my hair again. Then she colored my hair again. And I was like, what is going on? At this point, I could see that she was panicking and she kept changing her story multiple times. I knew I was done for. So this process was supposed to take me 2 days, right? So the first day, I was in the salon for a couple of hours. She did what she had to. I came back home, I washed my hair, and I saw that my hair looked orange. Now the thing is, you have to understand that what you see under these studio lights and what you'll see in daylight is completely different. In the sun especially, my hair looked completely orange. It was completely clashing with my skin tone. So I went back the second day. I was like, wait, the base color is not right. You've colored my hair I don't know how many times so far. I'm just asking for the darkest brown possible. Can you please do that and do it in one shot? Please don't keep on coloring and recoloring and coloring and recoloring my hair. Now, at this point, I was also getting pressure from all of the other people in the salon because everyone kept on blowing smoke up my ass. It looks great, it looks great. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I told myself, whatever she does, I'll let her color my hair once, and if she can't do it, then that's that. So she did my global and my streaks at the same time. Now, I had asked her for chunky highlights. And when I saw the size of the streaking, so it looked so thin and so stringy. And I was like, look, this is way too thin. I said chunky. Your sections are way too small. You need to take bigger sections. She did not listen to me. Anyway, at that point, I was pretty much done. Okay, I had checked out mentally. I came back home. I waited for a day or two. I styled my hair, and when I styled my hair, so I was scrunching my hair and I was dropping my hair, and my hair was pin straight. When I took a strand of my hair to see what was happening, I pulled the hair up, slightly to check the elasticity. It would just, usually when you take a strand of hair and you just try to stretch it a little bit, the hair is supposed to stretch like 30%, right? This hair was stretching and stretching and stretching and stretching and stretching and stretching. I could take this length of hair and stretch it till here. So you can understand, structurally, my hair was done for. Some context is needed here as well. So am I telling you that you should never color your hair because if you do, you'll lose your curl definition? No. That's not what I'm saying. I've personally colored my hair multiple times before. It's never had an adverse effect on my definition. What do I think went wrong this time? I think the issue was that the hairdresser colored my hair multiple times. It's like she processed my hair so many times that it changed my hair on a structural level, which is probably why I lost my curls. Notice the point that I made about my hair stretching to infinity? That's how I knew that something was wrong on a structural level. So if you ever decide to color your hair, go to someone who knows what they're doing, number one. And number two, if you can avoid bleaching, then please do so. I tried to style a few times. I was like, let's do protein treatments. Let's do lots of protein treatments. I took out all of my favorite protein masks that have never failed me in the past. And I did protein mask, protein leave-in conditioner. Let's see what happens. Nothing. There was like a slight improvement, but nothing to write home about. Like the hair was like a slight wave. That's it. So like, okay, let's do protein mask, protein conditioner, protein leave-in, protein gel. And then let's see what happens. Nothing. Now a couple of weeks were passing. Now the hair was improving slightly, okay, but nothing to write home about. It was just about a wave and a couple of waves at the back. But the front was all straight. Like that, max. Then I said, okay, let's do bond builders. I started out with Olaplex number 3. If you remember, Olaplex number 3 has featured in my favorites videos. That is how much I used to love it in the past. The moment I used Olaplex number 3, I noticed that my hair reverted completely. So even the portions that were slightly waving, those were also going back to being straight. So I started thinking, okay, I got into this crazy addiction to Olaplex. I started using it, abusing it, overusing it. And from the time that I started my journey till, let's say, before I colored my hair, my curl pattern has definitely loosened. And now I can't help but wonder, do you think it's the Olaplex that did that? Maybe it has no connection, okay? But have you also noticed that there are other content creators who have been online for like 3, 4, 5 years and their hair has also loosened slightly? I don't know if there's a correlation. I'll be very honest though, I used to love Olaplex so much. Now at this point, I'm petrified of it. I don't think I'll touch it. At least not until my hair is completely grown out and the color's gone. Long story short, Olaplex number 3 did not work. So I was like, let's try the minimalist bond repair. I tried it. Nothing happened. Like there was no visible difference. You know what I mean? The hair was like slightly curling and everything, but it was not going back to normal. It was not bouncing back. I tried the curl up bond builder again. Nothing to write home about. I mean, my hair was definitely improving, right? A little at a time. But there was no drastic improvement. And my texture was barely there. Then I finally tried an ACV rinse, and this is the first time I could see a remarkable improvement. It was not back to normal. I'll put up footage here. But there was definitely a significant improvement. The front of my hair was like a loose wave, but the back of my hair, the parts of my hair that are a type 3 curl, those parts really started curling and I was so happy. My journey with Curl Shock and progress was not linear. Some weeks my hair would have great definition, some weeks it would not have great definition, some weeks I would feel like my hair is really improving, then the next week again back to not curling. There were definitely a lot of ups and downs. Every time I did an ACV rinse and then styled my hair, my definition has always been much better. On days when I don't do ACV rinses, my definition is not comparable. Now let's look at my progress pictures and let me take you through all of the details. So this is what my hair looked like after styling during the initial few weeks. Indoors, you can't see the color, and in sunlight, you can see the color much better. This is footage of what my hair looked like after doing the ACV rinse. I'm so glad I took pictures and videos. I think my facial expressions give away how happy I was every time I made some progress and I had good results. This is when I had used the curl up range. I used the curl up shampoo, the hair mask, the curl cream and the gel. Probably the best definition I got so far, which gave me a little bit of hope. Now this is right after that. As you can see, the hair reverted again. This is what I was meaning when I said that my journey was not linear. Some weeks were good and then some weeks were bad. Here I think I used Arata's Advanced Curl Care range. This range always works very well for my hair and gives me very nice definition. These are my results with the Northwish leave-in and the Enliven Blue Gel. This is again the Advanced Curl Care range by Arata. It's the same lineup. I use the detangler, the curl cream and the gel. This is using Ashpa's Moisture Milk. Here I'm not sure what I used. In between, I think you can also see how many times I cut my hair. Each month I chopped off at least 1 inch. Every time the hair grew out, I cut it again. I'm going to insert some footage so that you understand what I mean when I say that my texture changed. Look at the top lengths of my hair versus the bottom lengths of my hair. Can you see that the definition is completely different? These are completely different curl patterns. You can also see that some of the colored length bounced back, but the bottom lengths did not. I don't have any hope for these sections. This is one of my recent wash days. I used the Moxie Curl Cream, which worked wonders for my hair. I think the coconut in the product gives me enhanced definition. You can see how elated I am by the results. So right now, what's the deal and where does my hair stand? Every time I do an ACV rinse, or if I use protein, or I use coconut, I get good shrinkage and good definition. On moisture wash days, I get less shrinkage and a lot more elongation, which I've made my peace with. Now here's the deal. I'm very tempted to chop all of these straight bits off, but my fear is, what if my hair becomes too short? And then I go into haircut curl shock, which is why I'm cutting it little by little. If I had found a good stylist that knew what she was doing, I don't think this would have happened to me. So if you decide to color or cut your hair, do your research and find a good stylist who knows what they're doing. I also want to share some testimonials so that you can learn from other people's experiences.
In August of 2018, I colored my hair red. I did red highlights all over my hair, and I think it's one of the worst hair decisions that I've ever made because it completely ruined my hair for me. I had naturally wavy hair that I never needed to style using any products. It was soft, wavy, beautiful, just the way I liked it. And then it completely changed. It became dry, rough, it became straighter. The waves were just limp, weird looking, a lot of frizz. I started getting tangles in my hair very, very often. I could not brush through it without, running through heavy tangles. And it was never the case like this before. And it was pretty horrifying. My hair looked like a cloud around my head, frizzy and horrifying, actually. Yeah. I don't know how else to describe the experience I went through. My hair has only recovered over the last few years somewhat, but that too only when I use styling products and go through the curly girl method. Because if I still brush it and don't use products, then it would still look frizzy and messy, and definitely the dryness has never left. This is so many years later. I'm in 2024 now, and I have lost my beautiful virgin wavy hair, and I can only attribute it to coloring. I have heat styled only like a handful of times in my life. That too, not like properly straightening it with a iron or anything like that. I've never done that. I have only used this brush which becomes a little heated when you connect it to the power supply, and it sort of just smoothens out your hair. That I've done like maybe 5-6 times in my life at most. So this is really the color which I can understand has ruined my hair. I'm never coloring again.
This is a testimonial from Forum X. They went through curl shock after having a haircut. I don't want to paraphrase their experience, so please feel free to pause and read through. The next testimonial is in the form of a comment I got on Instagram from the handle Beauty with Smriti. They went through color curl shock after coloring their hair. Please feel free to pause and read through. Alright, so that was pretty much it. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And if you're looking for more wavy curly hair content, check out these videos right here.